Jenny Eagle, reporter for LEEA, and I'm here with Archie Newbold, who is a project engineer for Alatas UK. Archie, it's been 1 year now since you were the recipient of the LEEA Robert Gordon University Award. What have you been doing in that time since then?
Since then, I've sort of covered a whole range of topics. When I originally first came back, I moved into the ad hoc pool, so I was covering a few different clients, mainly on the one-off basis. And then towards the end of last year, in November, I moved over onto a dedicated contract for one of the major North Sea operators. So since then, I've sort of been part of the team that's helped plan, manage and run jobs across their 6 North Sea assets, ranging from my peg calibration, load tests, 1 yearly mechanicals, slew, pump, spine inspection, gearbox change-outs, rope change-outs. It's sort of all been all over the place. I've done sort of a bit of everything. I've been looked into doing SLI upgrades, and then I've conducted a few offshore and site visits as well as part of bigger scopes that we've got in the pipe work, which are due to go off in the next couple of months as well.
Wow, fantastic. Congratulations. And how did LEEA help you in that process, do you think?
Well, since I got the award, I think it gave me a lot more exposure and understanding, because I think one of the things coming from university is you don't really touch on the standards or the codes behind the sort of engineering that you do. And then obviously from winning my award and then speaking to the guys from LEEA and then also looking into their publishing, it gives you a better idea of the reasons why we do what we do, the codes that govern us, and then also the reasons why that we look into certain safety aspects or how we would go around producing different jobs. I think they also provided quite a good technical background and technical understanding, and they're always willing to give you a hand. For example, there's a few things to do with probably certification, which we wouldn't touch upon purely as engineering, but you can go to LEEA and they'll give you a full explanation, which means that you can then go back to the client and give them a more detailed and in-depth sort of answer to help keep health and safety happy and make sure that everybody just clued up and happy for the jobs to go ahead.
And how do you feel today about encouraging? What can we do more to encourage the next generation into this industry?
I think from my first 12 months coming from university into industry, I think the main sort of connection point, which I feel has been lost since COVID and maybe the oil downturn in Aberdeen, is companies getting involved with universities and actively trying to recruit from university or offer placement positions. Because obviously the way that I came is I completed 2 placements and then moved into my grad job. But by doing so, I came in with sort of 6 months experience plus and my dissertation, which made the transfer from academic life to working life a lot easier. I think it's also a good opportunity to get exposure to industries, because at university, you're not 100% sure what you want to do after. Whereas once you get into the working world, you realize that there's different things that you find more interesting than others, where placements is a good way to be guided. So yeah, I would say if the best way to sort of engage people would be to get more connection with them and potentially offer more apprenticeship routes as well, and taking them in and training them from scratch rather than sending them to university and then just letting them find their own way afterwards. That would be probably a best way forwards, in my opinion.
And is there anything that surprised you since taking on a full-time role?
I would say it's probably just the overall, for me in my role anyway, how busy it is and how every single day is so much different to each one. Your week can go from absolutely quiet, normal on a Monday to then you've got a breakdown offshore and you need to get guys and equipment out there before the week's end and you're running around trying to pull stuff together. And then you can have 2 to 3 days of that and then you're back to everything's done and calm again and you're back on schedule. I would also say that it's probably the amount of, not free time, because I do keep busy, but at university, you've always got the next assignment or studying to be doing, or there's always something to do at the weekends and afternoons. Whereas now, where as long as nothing goes wrong, you're sort of free to sort of just get on and do your own hobbies and that, and you've not got to concentrate or focus on doing something else for university or a project, which is quite good.
Will you be taking on any more courses within LEEA to progress further?
I think that's something to look at. I mean, when I first left uni, I wanted to take a sort of break from academia and training, just, get a bit of experience and just work out. I think 12 months in now, I think I've sort of seen where my strengths are and where my weaknesses are. And I think, it would be something that I'd be looking towards now would be getting out there and taking the online courses, doing lunch learn sessions, or signing up for stuff that I know LEEA does, and just trying to gain a bit more background knowledge. Even if it's not directly beneficial to my job, it could still lead into something else, especially with all the lifting codes and standards that we have.
And so what's next for you?
I would say probably continued progression. I've sort of working towards, or started to set myself up to work towards my chartership. So it's just about getting a varied experience, working through things. Obviously, the managed contract that I work on does give me exposure to a lot of different aspects. Definitely a project management aspect. For me personally, it would be to try and get more into the engineering side again and start getting a bit more understanding of the actual ways things work, how to fix them, and just develop an all-round sort of more technical based knowledge aspect, I suppose.
What words of wisdom would you give to somebody wanting to pursue a career in engineering?
Don't limit yourself would be the big one. Just because, like, for example, the way that I went around with mine with doing industry placements would be, I know sometimes people can get pressured in or feel like they need to show a form of loyalty to people, would be that's good mindset to have, but also at such an early stage in your career would be go out there, look at all the different opportunities, do a bit of everything, and don't be afraid to ask for things, because the industry as it is, you don't get unless you ask. So if you want something, just ask. They say no, they say no. If they say yes, you've just got what you wanted. And that's probably the best way I've found to progress, would be just ask and see what the opportunities are. And you never know, you might find that you end up somewhere really good.
Well, thanks very much for those words of wisdom, and thank you for your time today.
No worries. I hope LiftX goes well and everybody has a good time.